All right, guys, we are back with Doc and the Boxer, episode 37.
Wow.
We're getting far into this, eh, Doc?
Yep. Yep.
And there's a lot of boxing on this weekend,
Yeah.
and we'll talk about some of the fights and stuff that occurred this weekend. So should we just jump right into it, Doc?
Let's jump right in. Any order you want. I watched a lot of fights.
Did you? Yeah. I did too on Saturday. Watched a lot. I missed one fight. We'll talk about that.
Yeah.
So the first fight, obviously, probably one of the exciting fighters out there right now, Vergil Ortiz Jr.
Yeah.
Exciting because the knockout percentage, it's 100%. And he's a fan favorite, and he's really brings it. Like he's gonna throw a lot of offense. And this was a good test for him. So we'll just jump right into that one. And then first of all, like we talked about how fights now, most of them are in Texas because Texas has eased the restrictions of COVID-19 and everything. It's one of the only states where they've allowed fans. Well, I know some other state, but there was so basically like there's 5,884 fans yesterday at the Vergil Ortiz fight, and that was in Dallas, at the Dickies Arena in Fort Worth, Texas.
Yeah.
Not Dallas, Fort Worth, Texas. Both fighters are from the Texas area. Anyway, so we have 22-year-old Vergil Ortiz Jr., who now improves to 17-0 with 17 KOs with 7th round KO over 31-year-old Maurice Mighty Mo Hooker from Philadelphia, who now falls to 27-2, 3 draws, 18 KOs. And we'll jump into it, Doc. Did you caught it?
Yeah, so I caught the fight. Respectable record for Mo, right? Like he's got a good record. Tall, had the reach advantage. And he actually got through in a few rounds. He got some combinations off, which was nice to see. I like this step up for Ortiz. I think that was like the right fight to step up to the next level.
Yeah.
Exactly. Is he at the next level yet? No. I know he's calling out Crawford, but he's not ready for Crawford. Two things should happen. He still needs bigger fights in that division, but not the biggest fights.
Yeah.
He needs bigger fights. I'd like to see him fight Danny Garcia, Porter, Thurman, those type of guys.
Sorry to interrupt, because you brought up Danny Garcia. That's one thing we're going to talk about. Who Danny Garcia is moving up to 154 now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I know he was a big 147. He's going to be a small 154.
He's saying he's going to take over the division. I think he's a little bit. He's past his best.
When's the last time he had a knockout?
Exactly. Yeah, and a win over a quality opponent.
Yeah. No, he's outside of Garcia at 154. I mean, look, as a boxing fan, I like to see what he can do because he has some power.
Right.
But he is going to be a smaller 154 pound.
Yeah.
But you know what? It's because he's lost all the big names in the 147 division.
He has.
Really.
He has. So he's like, I can't beat these guys. Might as well move up and let's see what I can do there.
Exactly. So there's still good fights at 147 for Ortiz that take him to another level, not the top utmost level, but I really like the way his career is going and the choice of fights for him. That was nice to see him fight a slick guy like Mo.
Yeah, I agree with that. Definitely. Maurice Hooker, former world champion too,
Yep,
right? So
yep,
it was a quality step up. It was a
yep,
home, it was like a hometown fight, rivalry. It was a good show. I was impressed
yeah,
with Ortiz because he came forward the whole fight. He had those hands up tight
yeah,
with a nice defense, head moving.
yeah,
And I felt like slowly, meticulously, he was breaking down. He had a nice jab. Everything he did was nice. There's a few instances in the fight where Maurice Hooker looked like he was coming on with that nice jab, and he found that rhythm.
yeah. And he. It was tough to keep a guy. It's tough to keep a guy like Ortiz out of at the end of your range.
Yeah,
So he would get his jab off, Hooker, and it looked good, and if it connected at the end of his range. But he did more of the combinations he threw were to his body,
and
right?
I
So
and
that's
I,
close range.
yeah, and the whole punching to the body, I was gonna allude to that too, because it was one body shot that really changed everything for Ortiz when he hit Maurice Hooker with that body shot,
Yes, to the
and that
liver.
was the change because in the corner, he even indicated to his trainer Bolmack, who's Brian McIntyre, who's Terrance Crawford's trainer, and
Yeah,
they work together. Terrence
yeah,
Crawford, and he's in that camp. Hooker's in that camp, so he's getting quality sparring, quality work, working with Bomac. But he was telling Bomac, he's like, "Sorry, man, I got hurt to that. I got hit to the body, and that's took the wind out of the sails."
yeah. And he showed, like, you saw it when it happened. You could see it hurt him, and Ortiz knew it hurt him too.
Because he backed away
Yeah, he
when the
lowered
guy,
his elbow slightly.
yeah,
You got it.
I don't want to get those body shots again.
Oh man, they're awful.
That's what happens when you hurt something. Ow, I hurt something, and you right away go to that word hurt.
Yeah,
Oh, the body. Oh, I gotta cover that body up,
it's
right?
such a tell, man. In poker,
Yeah,
not a good thing,
yeah.
right?
That's what they say. You always gotta put that poker face on, man.
Always,
But if
always.
but if you get hit with a good body shot, it's hard to.
Whew.
It's
Yeah,
like a paralyzation type of feeling.
yeah,
So anyway, so I thought it was like a great action from the start. Anyways, it was the body shot which we're talking about that really changed things around. Um, in the seventh round, Ortiz was all over him when he hurt him to the body in it was the sixth round when he hurt him.
I think it was the 6, but I can't remember.
Yeah, and then he was all over him in the seventh, or it might have been the seven. Um, and then so yeah, so I'm just like discombobulated a little bit
Yeah, yeah,
here.
yeah. No worries.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
he was all over him.
yeah, he was all over him. And Ortiz is saying this like the game plan was to slow him down. I knew he's gonna want to box because obviously his best chance, Hookers, was to box and use his length and stuff, but it didn't really work out when you have a guy on you, like
Yes.
with that velocity,
Yeah.
tenacity
Yeah.
is
And he got
difficult.
stronger as the fight went on, I thought. And he hadn't been past too many rounds previously, Ortiz, but he got stronger as the fight went on. And there was no plan B for Hooker's
Yeah,
team. There was
yeah,
no plan B. What if you can't keep him at range? Then what do we do? Nothing. No, like that was
yeah,
it. So you saw, okay, he has not adapted. We're in the
yeah,
seventh round here.
yeah,
It's gonna be over soon. And then
yeah,
that's what happened.
yeah. And how you were talking about the whole, with Terrance Crawford in the crowd, Errol Spence was there.
Yeah.
This was the big Texas fight card. And then the talk was because you gotta give it to Vergil because he's even calling it out. And like he may know he's not ready for the likes of somebody like Terrance Crawford, but for him to say, I want to fight the best, I want to fight the top guy who's basically number one pound for pound, and that's Crawford. And speaking of that, because they talked about the interview with Chris Mannix, he on DAZN, he was interviewing Crawford, and he was mentioned the Errol Spence fight. Is it gonna happen? And he's like, and probably it ain't gonna happen. I'm moving on. He's not thinking about Earl Spence. I'm thinking like, where's Earl Spence? Like, why hasn't talk been? But it's been a long time since he. First of all, he was injured. Then he fought, and it was a dominating performance. And then he's been gone now again. Like, there's
Yeah, I
no
don't
talk of
know.
him.
I don't know. And you're right. No, why hasn't there been any talk in the media or anything about the potential for that fight and why it's not happening and why it stalled, or who knows? But that's disappointing to hear Crawford say that. But that doesn't mean it's not going to happen either at some point.
No, but
There's too much money involved. It's not going to
there-
happen now because they want more gate revenue, probably.
maybe because of COVID and stuff, and
Yeah.
like they're not these big fights. They don't want them to really happen because they're blockbuster. The a good percentage of the fight, the amount of money that's being made is from the tickets. So not a huge percent, but a small bit. There's still a decent
Yeah,
size pay.
Yeah,
from
you're
the
still going to
fans.
get some exactly if there's revenue sharing on that. So who knows? But maybe that's a minor part. Who knows why?
Yeah.
Who
Yeah,
knows
I'm
why?
just like there hasn't been no talk of Earl Spence. No talk since
Nothing.
his victory.
Yeah.
Um anyways, Ortiz landed 143 of 392 punches, which is like 37%.
Nice.
Hooker connected with 100 of 465, 22%. Ortiz outlanded Hooker in all but one round in the whole fight. And he landed Ortiz landed 96 power shots in the seven round fight. Anyways, so
That's good.
on,
That's
on to the next, and we talked about a little bit and what he's saying. And this is what he says: Crawford is possibly the number one boxer pound for pound in the world, but definitely top two, 1 or 2. If they gave me that opportunity, I'm looking at you, Bud, because he was. Remember, he was in the ring and he was looking at Bud. Bud was like, Bud's like, yeah, man, you don't want this. He ain't
I
ready.
know, he's so cool.
He is. He's so cool,
Yeah.
calm, collected.
Always cool, man.
He's a cool cat.
Totally.
Yeah.
And you know what? He's right. You
Yeah.
don't want Bud
You
right
don't.
now.
You don't want. There's levels. There's levels. And actually, Hooker even said, in the press post fight,
Yeah.
about that. He's like, he was talking about Vergil, like Virgil's up and coming, but there's levels to this. He's good, but he's not ready for Terrance Crawford. I'm being honest. He's not ready. He needs to build himself back up. And then the fans are booing, Fans are booing the crowd. And he's like, man, I hear a lot of fans booing. And then he puts up the fingers like, F y'all.
Oh my God.
Pretty classy move.
Oh boy. Yeah, not worth it. But I do agree with him. I think we both agree with him. Not yet. Not yet.
There's
other guys in the division that are really good and will challenge him.
Do you make anything of with Ortiz, like his face being marked up and stuff? But what it wasn't generally how he looks after fights, because he's knocked out Brad Solomon, who was 28-0, Antonio Orozco, you know what I mean?
Yeah, he's been around for a little bit.
He was 28-0.
Yeah.
Maurice Herrera.
I remember Maurice.
Yeah.
Yep.
He
awkward
beat Garcia in Puerto Rico, and they gave it to Garcia.
to Garcia in
That
his
fight.
hometown. Yeah, he was an awkward fighter, and he lost a couple of good decisions.
Yeah.
A couple of decisions. But yeah, but still, he's got a lot. He's knocked out all these guys, but he still needs some tougher competition.
And he needs to, but that was a good step up, like with Hooker. That was a good step up,
Yeah.
and let's keep it around there. Let him get a few more. He has that tight D, and I think his dad was even alluding to that. And what they're because we're talking about the marks on his eyes and stuff. He didn't really get hit, few shots, but he had that tight guard, and the gloves you're gonna hate yourself.
I think it was his own gloves. Yeah,
it was his own gloves. He's got that tight move in the head.
Right.
I like the defense.
And that makes sense too when you look at the connection percentage of Hooker, right?
Yeah.
That's low, 22%. So
yeah, it is.
That means he actually wasn't hit clean very often. One out of four and a quarter or so times he get hit. So it's got to be when he blocks, it's his own glove hitting him in the face.
And that's a testament to longevity in boxing. It's the name of the game is to hit and not be hit.
Yeah, and if he can do it in that manner, right.
Exactly. Some guys are slick, they can make you miss. Some guys got the tight D, you can't hit them.
Yeah.
Whatever the case may be, his defense is what's going to propel you.
Yeah, for sure.
And then so De La Hoya always talked about this. He said at the time Canelo, there was talk about Canelo leaving Golden Boy and stuff, that he always proclaimed Vergil Ortiz De La Hoya as he's saying he's the guy that's going to carry the Golden Boy banner. So he's always had that invested stock into Vergil Ortiz. So we'll see what it'll be very interesting to see, because the fight, he's a welterweight. This is 147. There's so much at 147.
Deep division.
Deep, very deep. Like a lot of the divisions. There's a lot of good fighters. That's why boxing will never die.
No, it won't. And no matter what you think of De La Hoya and Golden Boy, if a guy like Ortiz is gonna go there, he's gonna get fights.
Yeah.
De La Hoya's been in the business long enough to make fights happen as well. So this kid, we're gonna see more of him because he's with that promotion company. Yeah,
definitely. And him and Ryan Garcia are the top guys there at Golden Boy that are making the most noise right now.
Yeah. Both in good competitive divisions too, which is exciting. So fight's gotta happen.
In terms of the 135 division, like we need to see these guys get it on with each other. These top guys, the stop avoiding each other. Let's see the best fight the best. That's what boxing wants.
Yeah. So I'm not like you. I don't want to see these guys get it on, but I do want to see them fight.
No, I'm not. Oh man. No comment.
Sorry, dude. Dad joke over here.
Okay.
Actually, no. Maybe not.
You startled me from home. Like, what's he talking about?
Yeah, sorry, man. It just sounded weird. You want to see these guys get it on.
Yeah. Let's get it on.
I hear you.
Yeah. What did you think about the DAZN card? Like, did you watch any of the other fights there, Doc, on that card?
Who else? Yeah, I think I watched. This was the no. I don't think I watched.
No? Well, just one fight worth mentioning. It was a undercard fight, and it was Senicia Estrada.
I did watch that fight. Sorry.
And generally, I don't really catch women's boxing too much. I don't look for it to watch it. But this was a good fight to watch because Senicia, she her last 4 fights have been knockouts. And when that's the thing with women's boxing, there's no knockouts. It's too far in between in between. And she dropped that girl in the what for a fourth round or a second round or whatever. And she was going to the body.
Yes.
You see that?
You see her also switch from orthodox.
I didn't know what she was doing. Like she was got like this, like
yeah. It was almost like an MMA fighter trying to take weight off the front leg. But I liked her style. I was quite impressed. That's the minimum weight class, 105. There's nothing lower.
Nothing lower.
I did watch a few fights on that card. I keep getting confused because there was the Beterbiev fight.
I know.
So it's hard to remember who was on whose card.
I know.
But yeah, that was nice to see. And she won a belt. Good on her.
That's a good problem to have, though, eh, Doc? That we don't know what card. There's so many and stuff.
Yeah.
There's so many things on. But so a great performance by her. She threw a lot of that's the thing. I love body punching.
Yeah.
And that body shot from Vergil Ortiz would change everything in that fight. And Senicia showed not many women go to the body, and she was going to the body. Clarissa Shields goes to the body as well.
But not as much, not a lot.
Not like this girl.
Clarissa Shields' last fight against the Quebecer.
Yeah.
Which was it was a good fight, like an action-packed fight. I watched that fight as well.
Yeah.
It's mainly head hunt. Even Clarissa Shields is going to the head.
It is
way more than the body.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, if females aren't getting the knockouts and stuff, there's not the body shots it's gonna translate to a knockout. There's gonna be a TKO. There's gonna be something that's gonna come from the body shots.
Yeah, you're right. And maybe that's one of the reasons we don't see enough knockouts is because they're not set up by going first to the body.
Yeah.
You're right. So that was a fun fight to watch.
It was fun. It was a good. It was a good fight. It was a good woman's fight. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the super bad. So then the other fight that at 3:00 the card started there in Moscow, Russia, at the Mega Sports Arena in Moscow, Russia, which it said. Artur Beterbiev improves now to 17-0, 17 KOs with a TKO over Adam Dines, from Germany, but Russian born.
Yeah,
he's a Russian that went to Germany, and so he's got I don't know if he had fought in Russia as well as an amateur or not. I don't know.
Not sure. I'm not sure, but I heard the corner was speaking Russian to him. So, I mean, German to him. So
yeah.
He definitely understands the language.
Yeah. So that production though, in Russia, like, didn't it remind you of when Rocky fought Drago? I was like, damn, this is crazy. This is like a Rocky.
Yeah.
I mean. Oh, and Beterbiev is like a Drago.
Well,
right, but he ain't get. There's no upset. Yeah, but a good guy. But the good guy, yeah.
Yeah, totally.
But he was the big physical, like his physical makeup.
Yeah,
is ridiculous.
Yeah, he looked bigger than Dines, and it was like Dines hitting a brick wall, a brick cement wall. Cement brick wall.
Mm-hmm.
When Beterbiev comes forward, he's hard to keep off, right?
Oh my god!
And he even got a knockdown in the first round too this time, which usually starts off a little slower than that.
Yeah, and it wasn't even a punch that connected exactly on that. It was just like boom, and then he's so powerful.
Yeah.
What did I think of the fight? I thought like. It was, look, the guy has been out of the ring 17 months.
Yeah.
Right? He had COVID one time. He had a rib injury.
Yeah.
There was the Feng Long Meng was the opponent originally, but that didn't come to fruition. Then Adam Dines gets a fight. It was a good performance. that he needed. Like it was nothing spectacular about it. But he just systematically he's too strong. He It was a matter of time where
Yeah.
Dines was gonna feel the pressure and then crumble.
It got me thinking of many things during that fight. One was when he fought Devosnik or Devodnik.
Gvozdyk. Yeah, that was his last fight. That was his
And
last fight.
Devosnik was a really skilled boxer and mover. And
WBC champion.
I'd love to see him fight again too, because I think he can beat up most of the other guys in that division. Not all, but most of them, except for Beterbiev. But I do see how good boxers can do well initially against Beterbiev, but then Beterbiev is just too strong, too relentless, and he breaks them down, and he breaks guys down just like Dines at the beginning, the first round of the fight.
Yeah.
Dines was moving and sticking quite well.
Southpaw as well too, right?
Southpaw.
The southpaw.
He was not a good. Can you take them? Thanks. He was not a good counter puncher. Yeah. I don't think he was a very accurate counter puncher, but he had some success when he was first, right?
Yeah.
So I saw that during the fight, but then Beterbiev just wore him down. The other thing I noticed about Beterbiev that I really like about him, his full power is not necessarily at the end of his punch. It's in close. He's one of those guys that hits so hard, he doesn't need full end range to reach his power. So
those 6-inch punches, bang,
power,
boom, boom.
And he threw. I just think he did really well. I was always trying to guess what lead punch he would throw when he came in, and sometimes he'd throw a lead right. Other times he'd feint and throw uppercut. Like he was doing some nice stuff to the body, to body uppercut.
Yeah, I like that.
I was impressed by that fight, even though it was 17 months since
his last fight. Yeah. And the thing is, like, you're right, Doc. The thing is, like, he's a 2-time Olympian. He has vast amateur experience, 300 and something fights, I think 15 losses, something like that. So he has that amateur experience. And that gives you a nice base for the ones that can take that into the professional ring and benefit from that.
Absolutely. Right. And for him, definitely. And his physique, he's a devout Muslim, right?
Yeah.
So he doesn't drink.
Yeah.
He eats clean and well.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't go to bed late because he doesn't go out partying or to clubs, anything like that. He trains all year round, no matter what.
Yeah.
So he's very disciplined, and I thought he looked in very good shape. I've seen him look leaner in the past, but he looked really good in this.
Really, he was ripped to shreds, man. Like he got muscles on muscles.
Yeah, but then when he gained back a few pounds for fight night, and he looked still ripped, but I've seen him more ripped. Against the Bostic fight, he was like metal armor or something, man.
Yeah,
crazy strong dude.
Yeah.
So he's right away to talk Canelo now.
Well, the Canelo, it's not even that right now. The next fight is. So we have a fight coming up with Joe Smith Jr.
Yeah.
Who's fighting I got that over here. So anyway, so he's got a fight coming up. That's next week, actually, Joe Smith Jr.'s fight. And he should win. He's fighting Maxim Vlasov, a Russian, really good. I think he's Russian, a really good record. But the winner of this fight, which is supposed to be Joe Smith Jr., is gonna fight Beterbiev next. It should be Beterbiev and Joe Smith Jr.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. I don't mind that, actually. I thought Joe Smith Jr., who did he lose to not long ago?
but
He won his last fight, and then he
yeah,
lost the fight before that. I
he's
can't remember who it
he
was.
lost to Bivol.
Bivol, that's it.
Bivol, yeah, he lost to Bivol, unanimous
So
decision. He TKO'd Leader Alvarez.
that's right. I saw that fight. That
Yeah,
was the last one. Yeah.
he
But
KO'd Bernard Hopkins out of the
yeah,
ring. Remember?
yeah. But
I'll never
Bernard
lose
was,
to I'll never lose to a white boy. And then he gets knocked out of the ring. Moments later, he gets out of the ring.
and his
Bernard,
shoulder, he couldn't continue because of a shoulder or something. Was that the
knows
fight? Or,
he got
I don't know.
knocked out, man.
But
I don't know.
that was a few years ago, and he was in his 50s already too. So, but Bivol, man, I don't know, man. I think Bivol should be next on the plate
I mean that
for Beterbiev. I mean, that's what we want.
that's what if we had it our way, we'd have all the big fights in boxing. But
Absolutely, but I especially feel this way for Beterbiev, because he's only had 17 pro fights. Granted, he's got a couple belts, but how old is he? 35?
36.
36. Bivol is young. So, I want to see those two fight before, after he peaks, Beterbiev. That's why I think there's a need to see that fight. I think he's the number one contender for sure in that division.
For sure. I think like with Beterbiev, he's that being that age and stuff, that he's on a timeline now that there's not many years left for him to be at that level. And there was already before there was talk of Beterbiev not losing the hunger. I'm not saying he doesn't train and stuff, because he always does like an animal. He's a devout Muslim, like you said, but losing the hunger to keep going in boxing.
Mm-hmm.
But apparently he's found that again, who knows? But if you had those thoughts in your head already, you don't just shake those.
I think but in the last fight, even 17 months ago, after the Bostic fight, I remember he's saying he wants to unify all the belts. That's given him a sort of a mission, a goal. So I think that's ultimately going to keep driving him, get all the belts.
And the fight with, and that's why the fight with Errol Spence Jnr., and that's for WBO, because the Leader Alvarez was WBO champion, and then Errol Spence won it from him. I
agree. So get that fight, get that belt. Hopefully they'll fight. He'll get that belt, and then you got to do Bivol. He's got a belt as well, I think. So and Bivol, do it in Russia, because they're both from that part of the world. It would be massive.
It would. Let's see what goes down. Right.
Other fights though. Other fights.
Just one other quick note on that. So we're speaking of what Russians and this fight taking place in Moscow and stuff, and even Cubans, like they're in the amateur system for a long time. Because there was one fight, the co-main event of the Beterbiev fight. Sorry, I forgot the names, but it was a one fight. He was 6-0. That's it, and he fought a guy who was 14 and something. But this was for a WBC silver belt title or something. Anyways, but their ages, like they're in 30s, late 30s. So you're thinking like he's only got 6 fights, and he's in his late 30s. So these guys in the amateur system, they're sticking around there longer.
That wasn't the Lopez.
No, this was
Marciano Lopez and fighting.
That was the Argentinian guy.
The Argentinian.
That was on the DAZN card.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So we get mixed up with the cards. This is the ESPN card, but it was. I'm sorry, I forget the names of these fighters, because this was a very good stylistic fight, and this fight, the guy that won. I don't want to talk about so long because I can't remember the names, but he had such a weird, awkward style, which was so effective. Long punch, bang, bloodied the guy's nose up, whatever. He fought a guy from, he was another Russian, but based out of Hungary, based out of living in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. Anyways, it was a great fight, but these guys stick in the system long, right? Like Cubans, boxers, they're stuck in that system, in
Yeah.
the amateur system for so long that when they go professional, they're older. Like just
Mhm.
then you have the Americans on the other hand. Americans, they don't really go that Olympic route, or if they do,
No.
they're only going to one Olympics. They're not going
Yeah.
to two and three, right? They'll go to Olympic, then turn pro at like 20 years old,
Yes.
21 years old, 20,
Absolutely.
18, 19, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. Their whole they're seeing that the Olympic path now is not what it used to be in the days of Sugar Ray Leonard, where you
Right.
come out with it out of the Olympics with the gold, and there's a contract and commercials and
Yeah.
ads, and you're all over the place. It's not like that anymore with the Olympics.
And that, as well as, it's not like if you're a great fighter, really good, you should win Olympic gold, but you the IOC, Olympic Committee, and IABA, amateur boxing, is so corrupt. The scoring is so bad, is horrible, that you're bound to get ripped off. It happened to Floyd Mayweather. It happened to Roy Jones. It happens way too often. So you waste your time in trying to win the Olympic gold, because that's not guaranteed anymore. Like it
True.
was like it was back in 92 when De La Hoya won the Olympic gold.
Yeah.
He was the guy that was gonna win that gold, and he did. But
Yeah.
nowadays it's not gonna happen that way. Oh,
No.
he's ripped off. Collins shooting the fingers to the judges. This is
Yeah.
too common.
Yeah. And that's why they're going pro at least in the States, they're going pro in North America much earlier ages. Yeah. They don't want to stick around in the amateurs too long.
Yeah. No, they don't. They don't. What's the
No, those
point?
days-
It's a waste of time.
Yeah. Those days are gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What you gonna say?
I was gonna
Something?
say,
Huh?
I was gonna say, like
Oh, like me?
yeah, you got out of the
Oh
Olympics.
yeah,
two Olympic games. What was your experience coming out as far as opportunity goes?
I was when came out of the second Olympics, I was 25, but that's for a bantamweight, that's old.
Yeah.
What I should have done, it was the first Olympics, I was 21, and I had good offers, and I should have taken them then. But I'm like, oh, I should stick around for another Olympics, because I feel I could really win one, because I can win a gold medal, any medal per se, gold, which is what you always hope for. But the first Olympics, I lost it in the second round to the Thai fighter, who won the gold, and my fight was so close with him, closest fight he had. So I'm like, let's stay. But in hindsight, I should have went professional.
Yeah, it's hard to know though at the time. It's really hard.
It's hard to know, but then also too, you don't know how good you're gonna be in professional, because it's different.
Yeah.
Like I was a really good amateur, one of the best in the world in my weight class. But when I turned professional, it was great. I was all honky dory at the beginning, because I'm fighting these guys that have no experience. But then when I started picking it up, it was so difficult. It's a different game. You can't have a headgear on and box amateur, and it's okay. You just punch slips in. Oh, I got a headgear. I'm okay. I'll still win the fight. Abner
Right.
Mares, I fought Abner Mares. He knocked me down, but I still won. But if you knock me down in professional, I ain't getting up.
Right.
Right?
Different game. Yeah.
It's a totally different game.
Yeah. I hear
Totally
you.
different game.
Mhm.
Yeah. So
what was your longest layoff when you were active?
as a professional, my
Yeah.
longest layoff was the time when I tore a bicep tendon. I was out for almost a whole year. like
How-
8, 9 months.
And how was that? How was your first fight coming back from that?
Oh man, I like obviously I had a cast on up to here, and then I couldn't work out or anything, and then I was just like I was just like with the cast, can't work out, just gaining weight, gaining weight, gaining weight, eating, gaining weight. Then then my cast is coming on. I gotta start working out now, a little bit, a little bit. Then I got out, had a fight in England, and it was difficult to make the weight. Just to
It was.
make the weight, it was difficult.
Yeah, I'm
And
sure.
yeah, and I got hit with the head. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, go on.
No, and then I go to England to fight. Don't drink anything the whole flight. No drinking, nothing. Go there, work out. When I get to England, then I gotta wait in the next day. Then I gotta fight. First round, I get hit with a headbutt. Bad cut from an African. Bad cut. Fight stop. So what should happen? Fight stop. It's a
Before
no
fourth
decision.
round?
No decision. The first round. No
first round.
contest, right?
Yeah,
Should
yeah.
be. But then in England, they didn't even have that rule. Can you believe it? So I ended up losing by TKO.
That's ridiculous. It's from a headbutt,
Yeah. You know,
not from a punch.
yeah, it was blatant. It was like they all saw it. It wasn't even from a punch or anything. It was a headbutt. They didn't have a no contest rule, so I couldn't continue. So he ended up winning by TKO.
Man, that is exactly why you need a no contest rule.
Yeah. And
No
then
matter where the fight.
then they changed it. Then in England, I was the reason they changed that rule. They made
Hey, nice.
a rule. Yeah, they made that rule after. Crazy, but nice, but at my expense.
Right. True.
I got a loss on my ledger.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
Whatever. Anyways, that's how the fight game goes, man.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a tough game.
Tough game, tough way to earn a living. Tough way. Then Doc, did you see the other fight? I didn't catch that one. The
Okoli fight?
Lawrence
Yes,
Okoli.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I'll get your opinion. So basically Eddie Hearn promoter.
Yeah.
Eddie Hearn's the biggest promoter in boxing right now.
Yeah, he is.
Now his newly crowned WBO champion Lawrence Okoli from UK is 16-0 cruiserweight, 13 KOs. On Saturday night at the SSE Arena in Wembley, Okoli knocked out former two-time title holder Krzysztof Glowacki from Poland, 31-3, 19 KOs. And he picks up the cruiserweight WBO belt. I read some stuff and I heard how good he fought.
Yeah.
Okoli.
So he's 6'5", right? And Glowacki is
like 2 or 1 or something.
Yeah,
shorter considerably, right?
Yeah. His reach, he's got a long reach. He's got long legs. So Okoli's got a wide stance. Glowacki is a southpaw. So Glowacki could not get his foot on the outside of what's his name? Okoli's foot.
Okoli's.
And Okoli, because of that front foot and that wide stance, Okoli totally controlled range, and he had a 4 to 6 inch reach advantage on Glowacki. So he could just stand in range with that front leg, not letting Glowacki's front foot go outside, and he could peg him off with his jab. And then it was easy because it's a small step outside, and then he could line up his right down the middle, and that's what he kept doing until finally, bang, right on the shit.
And that was in the what round was it?
I think it was the 7th.
Yeah, I think it was 7 round knockout. So 6th round.
6? Okay.
6th round, yeah.
So he's a big boy. I mean, they're talking about one day he'll go up to heavyweight, but
yeah, that's a talk. So another British heavyweight.
Let's see what he could do at cruiserweight. Cruiserweight's had a few British fighters too, right?
Mm-hmm. David Hay.
David Hayes, I think probably the best known. But I
Yeah.
think I like this guy. I like this kid. He's good. He is
Yeah.
good.
And I like to,
A
oh,
little
sorry.
bit slow. Sorry, I was going to say he starts off a little bit slow, but
Yeah.
he throws his long jab out there, and Guaki's face was just all, especially one side, was just all marked up.
So Eddie Hearn, this is what Eddie Hearn said. I really like Eddie Hearn too. He's like, my goodness, was he good enough? Not just good enough, an absolute masterclass. That's how the British talk, eh?
Yeah.
He used the jab, the footwork, the right hand, the rook inside, the spinning up. He did all that stuff. He's like, so Hearn was talking about, Eddie Hearn was talking about Akali and how Akali got into the boxing. So Akali he went with his dream. He was working at McDonald's. He saw Anthony Joshua win the Olympic gold when it was in London in 2012. So right from then, that spurred him to be like, I wanna do the same thing. I mean, he didn't win Olympic gold, but he went to the Olympics. Akali, he quit his job at McDonald's, and then years later, look where he is now.
That's amazing.
Became the cruiserweight champion. Amazing
Fantastic.
story,
Yeah, that's right. And nobody real. I mean, Guaki's not a walkover. Like, he has a good record. He's tough as nails.
Yeah,
And
Gulaki's a two-time champion.
he didn't win a round in that fight either, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. This kid Okali, he controlled the whole fight, and he did it through a really wide stance and using his reach.
Yeah.
And when a guy can use the tools that are most effective, that he's gifted with, he's going to win the fight. So this if he stays at cruiserweight too, because there's not a lot of big names in cruiserweights in that division right now.
That's right.
He could own that division a long time potentially.
Yeah, potentially. Yeah. So a good, nice story, nice feel good story.
Yeah, I love it. Love that.
Yeah. So what were the other fight? We covered most of the fights, right?
There was another female fight, a British girl and something Ali. I forget.
And that was on this card.
On the same card, yeah.
Actually,
this Ali, her last name's Ali.
Yeah.
She was pretty good. She was young and she was good.
Yeah.
So maybe some talents coming up in women's boxing as well.
Good.
But
nice
Clarissa Shields, did you see that fight at all or no?
Yes, I didn't see Marie Eve DeCare.
Yeah.
It was
not a. Sorry, go on.
No, I didn't see it all, but I caught a bunch of rounds.
Yeah.
No, sorry, I did see it. I did watch it. Yeah, I did watch it.
It was not like an easy fight for Clarissa Shields. She won most of the rounds, if not all of them, but she did get hit. But to me, she was headhunting most of the fight. But we got to give it to her. That's 4 world championships belts, right?
Yeah.
4 weight, like 4 classes. So that's a record.
Because she's done it in 2 weight classes.
Correct.
Unified in 2 weight classes.
And I think that's the record.
That's a record.
Ali, right?
I think so.
Who said she might come back?
But yeah, I doubt it. 10 years out of the sport. No,
not worth it.
You can't.
It's not worth it. Get hurt.
Yeah. So the Clarissa Shields, great fighter, 2-time Olympic gold medalist, everything like that. I just don't like some things that she says. One thing she's saying, I beat 98% of the men out there. You think she beat 98% of the boxers out there? The fighters. I'm talking about not just any men and fighters. 98% of the fighters out there she'd beat.
I don't think she could beat the 100th ranked male pro fighter.
Yeah. And I mean, you only have 2 knockouts. Is it like 2 knockouts in 11 fights? We talked about women's ability to hurt and stuff, because that's at the end of the day, people love that, right? Fans love, and they talk about we want equal pay, but the knockouts are what sells. And in women's boxing, there's very few knockouts, very few people getting hurt, getting knocked down. It doesn't happen. It's too far in between.
Yeah, and there's still a difference in and I'm not saying this as a sexist thing, but there's still a difference in the skill level in most male and top male pro boxers compared to women pro boxers. There's just technique and skill that just comes through. Maybe you gotta, these days you gotta be so careful what you say, but
I know
biologically,
right.
Here, I'm only going to say facts. Biologically, men have testosterone, higher amounts, much higher amounts than women do. That affects muscle strength, muscle tone, and muscle speed even. So, of course, there's going to be different outcomes. I hope the opportunities are the same, but the outcomes in boxing are not going to be the same. It can't be. So it's coming from biology, in my opinion.
Those are facts, right?
Yes. Facts have no feelings, right?
So, and what Clarissa Shields has done quickly to do it, and unified champion 2 times in 2 weight classes in men's boxing, that's a lot harder to do, because the vast amounts of fighters out there. There's one female boxer that's dominating the whole, and that's Clarissa Shields, is dominating women's boxing. There's like 1,000 men, or I wouldn't say 1,000, but there's a whole bunch of men that are dominating in professional boxing.
That's true.
Let's get off this topic, because we don't want to get ourselves in any kind of trouble and stuff. We don't want to get banned and stuff. So we'll just talk about some other upcoming fights, Doc. And did you hear about this one? There's negotiations going on because we hear so many things like this fight's gonna happen, this guy's gonna fight Haney's gonna fight this guy, that guy, but nothing ever comes to fruition. But what is being talked about, and Oscar Valdez confirmed this, that there are negotiations with Lomachenko. You heard about that? For WBC. And I love Lomachenko, because look at the guy, he took that L to Defimo, and he's gonna go down to 130. He's back in the weight class that he's dominates at.
Much better weight class for him. He's not the smallest guy in that weight class, and therefore his skill will just shine through. By the way, speaking of Lomachenko, I did go back and watch that David Benavidez fight. The last one he won. I see he does a similar trick that Lomachenko does. Where he reaches, pulls the guy's guard glove down, and then throws a hook with the other hand.
Since Lomachenko has come into the sport and has been using that's been like a frequently used tactic from other boxers now.
Beautiful. I like it. But sorry, got off topic here. But I like that fight against Oscar Valdez. At 130, I would have to lean towards Lomachenko pulling that off, especially coming off a loss. He's going to be pretty damn motivated. But if Valdez wins, I mean, that would be a huge. That would put him right up to fighting Lopez, right in the mix.
And last time Lomachenko was fought at 130 is in 2017 when he fought Rigondeaux. So, you're right, Doc. If Valdez can beat Lomachenko, you know what that does as well to Lomachenko? If Lomachenko takes another loss, it's gonna really, for me, it's gonna really tarnish his invincibility, because at the one point even though he lost to Salido, he was still regarded as pound for pound the best. This guy was a different kind of beast that we've seen. The
Yeah,
Matrix,
yeah,
this will take that shine is completely removed from Lomachenko then.
yeah, yeah. I know what you mean, but to still build that legacy, he's got to take on these fights. He's in a bit of a catch-22 because if he suddenly
Yeah,
stops, well, the legacy stops with him. So
yeah.
it's just there's a lot of young beasts in those lower weight classes, and they're coming.
Hmm. Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
so we
you're
got
right. Yeah, and he has to fight only the top guys. Lomachenko has got to jump right back in there. It's
yeah.
going to be very interesting to see what, because that Barbarian was talking very highly of Lomachenko, saying he was the best thing that he's seen, even better than Ali and stuff. That
Who was
he's
saying that?
Bob Arum,
Oh, okay.
top ranked promoter. That
Yeah,
he's the best that I've ever seen, that we've ever witnessed a fighter like
yeah.
this.
I mean, he is one of the best. He's
He
so
is.
unique. He's so good, offensively and defensively.
Yeah.
But he's got to, he'll now go down at 130. I think he's going to do better at 130 than 135. Really.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd like to see him dip back up for a rematch at some point with Lopez. Go back up to 135 at some point so they can have a rematch.
I don't think actually. I think he stays away from that because
Yeah.
he's. You know how when a fighter has your number, like then you can't beat this guy. This guy's got your number. You get like I fought Juan Manuel Lopez like 3 times and I beat him every time. He can't beat me, but he was a world champion and stuff, and he went on to professional and really made some money and did this and
Mhm.
that. But he couldn't beat me. His styles make fights.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
and also, he after his amateur was Juan Juan Manuel Lopez from Puerto Rico.
yeah. The Puerto
Yeah.
Rican. Yeah,
Yeah. I think he was also overhyped when he came into the pros. Not that he wasn't really good. I
yeah.
mean, you killed him, but something he wasn't built for the pros.
No, but he was a champion though. He
He was.
twice, I
But
think twice.
I thinking about Lomachenko, just his mentality, like after he lost to Salido, he's been trying to get that rematch for years. They were persistent trying to get that rematch.
Yeah, especially after it happened.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but even years later, he still wanted that rematch. And Salido's team they were like, he was, I guess, at the brink of retiring anyways. But I don't know what's happened. But I don't know. My fighters' egos, you should know.
Salido was like, man, I got this gift. I'm out here. I'm gone. I'm retiring.
Yeah,
No, don't fight me.
that's
Leave me
true. That's
alone.
true.
No Maschenko.
That's so true. That's so true.
Right?
So that's
Yeah.
why I think, I could be wrong, but that's why I think he's going to still pursue getting a rematch. I think he'll still pursue it. He doesn't like losing. He hates it. He doesn't. He wants to avenge that, I bet. But we'll see.
Yeah, but he's got the other loss to
Yeah.
Defimo too that he wants to try to avenge, but maybe he should stay away from that.
Yeah, maybe, but I would watch a rematch. Wouldn't you?
For sure.
Yeah.
I didn't. It didn't sound like Lomachenko when after this fight happened, when the Teofimo fight, because Lomachenko's like he was saying stuff. He was like, for the first 7 rounds, whatever, I was calculating data, and many only true boxing fans would really appreciate that. And I'm like, I know I'm a boxing fan, but
Yeah.
I didn't appreciate you. You didn't even do anything.
No, he simply didn't. He simply couldn't connect. That was it. And he couldn't
And
connect partly
he couldn't
because he was
connect.
worried about
He,
that heavy overhand right coming at his head
exactly, 100%.
or down the pipe.
He had that eraser.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, like Vergil Ortiz. Vergil Ortiz had that power. He felt it to the body, Maurice, and then he's like,
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm
Same
looking to
deal,
get
man.
out of here.
All right, buddy. I think we're
Okay,
done.
Doc. Yeah, we are done. We are
Holy
done.
smokes.
Yeah, time
Okay.
flies. All
It
right.
does. So
Okay,
episode 38 next week.
38.
Okay, man.
We got some fights next week too. We'll talk about.
Yeah.
All right. All right.
Keep it going, bro.
All right. Peace.
Peace out.
Peace out.